All right, good morning, YouTube. Busy morning thus far on the day, and yes, I did have some coffee, so I'm a lot better with getting the right words out, hopefully, so this video will tell. RJ was just here. He dropped off another log load of pole length wood for the processor. So what we're gonna do, I've got a couple bigger pieces in there that we're gonna use the 1824 diesel to buck them up to length, because I have this brand new splitter from Timberwolf. This is their TWLS, and it's basically the redesigned semi-pro from Brute Force after the whole buyout. I want to get some rounds on here. The log lift is absolutely massive. We have the hydraulically adjustable wedge on this and a table grate now, so some really nice upgrades coming from Timberwolf. And then to my right is a Splitforce. It's an SF9 TR, so it's the self-drive with a side conveyor on it. It's a 6-foot side conveyor. We've now got a crank winch on this for lowering it in and out, because the last ones have been so heavy. I almost killed myself once, but now with the chain and the winch on there, make it a lot easier. We've got to fold down the log lift there on the far side, and basically just want to do like a head-to-head with these two units. I know one's a 4-way and one's just a regular 2-way knife, but we'll see what happens. I'm gonna fire up the E60. We'll grab that piece of wood, throw it on the live deck. We'll try to utilize the same log on both. That way we can't say, oh, this one split, you know, oak and this one did ash or something. We'll try to use the same piece. From where RJ is pulling wood, they are using everything like 14, 16 inches and bigger. So everything on this pile goes up to about 14. So I'll try to pick the biggest one out of there, and we'll make rounds out of that. So stay tuned. We'll get everything fired up. It's about 41 degrees this morning. So stay tuned. Just do a walk around on this before I forget to do it, while everything's still all shiny, spiffy, and new. Like I said, this is the redesigned semi-pro that Brute Force was putting out, and this has been redesigned now as a Timberwolf machine, TWLS, and a couple really nice upgrades off the bat are the hydraulically adjustable wedge is standard, the auto cycle here, these two valves, that's standard. Oh, I want to take these because everything's in line, so I want to pull the cotter pins out of here and reverse these two so they're actually pointing backwards, so I don't accidentally grab the wrong levers, because the other two are the hydraulic wedge and that log lift. The electric start is a standard piece, and this big regen valve for like a fast split is standard. The big bore is standard, and yes, this massive log lift is also standard. The table grate is standard, the solid axle underneath is standard, and the removable hitch is standard. What I'm really excited about are these two legs here in the front. It really stabilizes this unit. Before we were just doing a single jack. I think it was on the log lift side to kind of help support the weight, and with these two dual legs that are on here, this thing is absolutely solid. They opened up the splitter chamber for getting, you know, some bigger rounds into it, and yes, if you look at the two eyelets here, that log lift is movable side to side based on your operation, however you want to do it. It's flexible. So let me move over to the Splitforce unit, do a quick walk around on that one, and then we'll get to making little pieces out of big pieces. All right, so this is the SF9 TR side conveyor model. Both of these units are actually sold. So Berkeley in Virginia is getting the LS, and Brad from out in Milford, Pennsylvania is getting the SF9. So just gonna do some testing on both of them here before they leave. But I gotta grab a 7/16 bolt to get this out of the log lift so we can get that down, and then we'll use the hand crank there for lowering the conveyor down. But really, really nice unit. We did the upgraded electric start. So this is actually an 11 horsepower motor on this. They're all the same vertical mass and cylinder. It's a 2-stage pump, so we are getting like the 28 tons worth of splitting pressure out of this. I've sheared some wood sideways. Might do that again just to show it. And so, but yeah, it's our typical Splitforce unit that you've seen on the channel. Just has this bigger conveyor on it, which will open up here in a little bit. So So let's look at the wood that we put on both of these. What I'm going to try to do is a 6-way split off of both. So we're going to leave the 4-way in here and we'll get 2 pieces off the bottom, 2 bigger pieces off the top, and we'll run one of them back through just for that 6th split. But we got red oak, white oak, red oak, white oak, and red oak. And the same thing here, red, white, red, white, red. So some knotty pieces, not really pulling any punches as far as what's, you know, on the table itself. And so trying to make it even and see what happens here. Got a whole bunch more left in the bucket. We'll make it all disappear, I'm sure, by the end of the day. But we'll start here with the LS. Everything has been warmed up while I was loading the deck and cutting the rounds, so we're going to start it and go right to full throttle.
right, full disclosure, I've never used that before, and I'm used to the semi-pro. It would raise that up a little bit more and the log would roll in to me. So I do have a pickaroon over on the processor. I'm going to bring that over so I can stab that and pull it to me so I can stay on the same side and not waste time on that. So that's on me. As far as the cycle times go, which I probably need to bring the camera over, we'll do 3 cycles of each, time it, so we know exactly an average for what each one is doing. I said a 6-way split. I should have said an 8-way and just run everything through twice. I stopped the clock because I said that's what I wanted to do, was with 6 splits, but then I went back into the bag and grabbed the bigger chunks out because it's about quality. I like offering a premium piece of firewood up here, so if something's too big, then I don't know, some people like the bigger, chunkier stuff. I like a mix of it, but so then on the Splitforce, I just moved things to the side and did basically the same thing and just re-split some stuff down for size. So we'll do an 8-way run, or an 8-split run. We'll do white oak and red oak again, and I'll bring the pickaroon over and try it for a take 2. All right, I have 8 pieces of white oak left, so 4 and 4. We'll do it for a third time, so that'll be an average on everything. I kind of like doing the 8-way split. I was able to do that over here pretty easy, as well as over here with pulling the pieces back out and giving it a true test. Now, I sell both units, so I feel like I can give both of these machines a fair shakedown, because I want you to buy this one if it's in your budget and right for what you're doing, and I want you to buy a Splitforce unit if that's what you're doing and that's in your budget. So really not trying to do this like a head-to-head Splitforce versus Timberwolf, just giving an honest, you know, head-to-head here and what works best for you. So let me throw these last 8 rounds up on the splitters here, and I think when I run the LS this time, I'm going to try to do it from the log lift side, just to try. So stay tuned. All right, so like I said earlier, this wasn't necessarily one manufacturer versus another manufacturer, although in a way it is. But for me, we sell both machines, just like the bags versus the totes. I use both of them. We have the rotator pallet forks that make flipping the totes really easy, and then we offer a wide variety of bags to fit your need as well. So like the 6th cord bag that we have here fits really nice underneath the table grate here on the Timberwolf LS. If it fits under this one, it'll do well on the TW2, the TW5, and the big Alpha as well. So, and you might not have the lifting capacity of like a Toolcat or a bigger skid steer. This is half the size of the big bulk bag, so a smaller John Deere, a Coyote, a Kubota, you know, can easily handle a couple 100 pounds versus something that might be 1,000 or more. There are die-hard tote guys. The tote fits really well underneath the side conveyor of the SF9 TR, but I cannot get the tote underneath the table grate. So in a couple of ways, this video is really nice for the comparative factors between a lot of different things, splitter versus splitter, bag versus tote. And I know guys have even they'll cut out a couple pieces here, that way they can, you know, easily stack inside of there. And you know my feelings about stacking firewood. Yeah, I can't do it. I've turned down firewood deliveries where they want me to stack it. I don't have time for it. I know what I can produce, and I know what my time is worth. And it's not worth stacking wood when I can throw it into a tote, put it into a bag, and go from there. Just a one-man band. Occasionally my son comes up to help, but for the most part, it's me. And if it takes me 30 minutes to fill that tote, or 30 minutes to stack that tote, then I could have made a couple cord of firewood on the big processor. So the last piece, I hope when you're watching this video, we've gotten so many different phone calls and questions about the Splitforce units in, you know, why don't we do a 4-way knife versus just that 2-way edge on the Splitforce? Well, hopefully that last video you could see just how I was working that wood across there to get the nice even splits, you know, versus if that was a 4-way, I don't know, like I just feel like it would be weird to try to manage, you know, 4 pieces every time. But when you go across with that knife, it's so fast and it's so easy. I mean, you really have to run one before you really understand it. But then again, on this, we were able to push things through, kept the wedge a little low on the I-beam, 2 bigger pieces on top, grabbed those, stacked them, and sent them back through again. So I feel both splitters were very efficient in what we were able to do. I will say the only edge that the Splitforce gives a customer, you can do both your heating wood with it, but then you can get down into that little itty bitty bundle wood or the pizza oven, you know, kind of wood. It just really depends on, you know, what you're going to do for, you know, your output. Price wise, the LS behind me from Timberwolf is right at like $9,000. Now the SF9 TR that's here, there's a couple things that the LS doesn't have. This one is self-propelled. It does have a conveyor to it. So Brad's coming up. We sold that one for $17,000. So you're almost double the money. But if we get into the SF9 low-speed towable, you're like right around like a 10.2 number. And it's the same cylinder. It's the same vertical mass, the same log lift. Basically, all of the Splitforce units, even up into the 1320 like I have over there with the hopper, it's all the same hoses, pump, cylinder. It's just that one has a 13 horse. But again, we're pitting 11 horsepower against 11 horsepower. And so it's about as competitive as we can get. But it just comes down to asking you to give us that phone call so I can talk to you, because like I said, we live in a lot of different worlds. We use what we sell, and it's us using the product. I can talk to you, listen to the budget needs, listen to the output options that you want, and try to get you into something that makes a lot of sense for your operation. We have been doing some really great things with business finance, so give us a phone call. It's 833-SPLITTER. It's 833-775-4887. You can also email me at sales@shaverequipment.com. Over on the website, shaverequipment.com, you'll see the easy online ordering for all of our firewood bags. The log lift, the power lift, the 6-cord like this one, and the barrow bags are all online. A couple of different order quantities. Shipping is figured in. The credit card fee is figured in right from the start. There's no, smoke and mirrors that we're selling them for $8, and then by the time you get to the end, they're like 20 bucks or something. All the numbers are upfront and honest. It's just how I try to do business. So again, if we can earn your business with that sales quote, give me a phone call. Would love to talk to you in person. Shoot me an email, and we can get all this stuff hashed out, figured out, quoted up, and hopefully sold and get it over to your wood yard sometime soon. I do have one of everything on order from Timberwolf, so between now and the end of the year, you will see it featured here on the channel, so stay tuned for all of that. But don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, because that's the easiest way to stay up to date on everything we have going on. And with awesome pieces of equipment like this, working hard to be lazy is very, very easy. So thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you next time.